African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of November 20th, 2025. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the special military operation. The units of the North Troop Group inflicted defeat on formations of 2 mechanized brigades, a Ranger Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a Territorial Defense Brigade in the areas of the settlements Alexievka, Varakino, Katarinovka, Novaya Sek, Pisarevka, and Unikovka in the Sumy region. On the Kharkiv direction, defeat was inflicted on units of the National Guard Regiment in the area of the settlement Volchansk in the Kharkiv region. The armed forces of Ukraine lost up to 250 servicemen, a tank, 3 infantry fighting vehicles, 18 vehicles, 6 field artillery guns, 2 electronic warfare stations, 5 ammunition and material supply depots. The units of the West Troop Group improved their position along the front line. Defeat was inflicted on personnel and equipment of 4 mechanized brigades, an assault brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements Kurilovka, Kucherovka, Monikanovka, Nechvolodovka, Podoly in the Kharkiv region, and Drobashevo in the Donetsk People's Republic. In the settlement of Kupiansk in the Kharkiv region, assault detachments of the 6th Army continue clearing city blocks and destroying the remnants of encircled enemy units. During the day, 2 attacks were repelled by formations of the 125th Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and the 15th National Guard Brigade in the areas of the settlements Blagodativka and Kutkovka in the Kharkiv region, aimed at breaking the encirclement and reaching the Oskol River to restore destroyed crossings. The enemy lost up to 15 militants. Additionally, 50 servicemen lost. Units of the South Troop Group occupied more advantageous lines and positions. Defeat was inflicted on formations of mechanized, assault, airmobile brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and a Marine brigade in the areas of the settlements Berstok, Zakotnoy, Zvanovka, Ivanopoly, Konstantinovka, Nikolaevka, Reznikovka, Seversk, Slavyansk, and Stepanovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost more than 190 servicemen, 4 armored fighting vehicles, and 14 vehicles. An electronic warfare station, for ammunition, material, and fuel depots were destroyed. Units of the Center Troop Group improved their tactical position. Defeat was inflicted on personnel and equipment of 3 mechanized brigades, assault, Ranger, airborne assault brigades, 2 assault regiments of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, a Territorial Defense Brigade, and 3 National Guard brigades in the areas of the settlements Belitskoy, Grishino, Novopavlovka, Novi Donbass, Oktyabrskoy, Rodinskoy, Rosa Luxemburg, and Shevchenko in the Donetsk People's Republic. In the settlement of Krasnoarmysk in the Donetsk People's Republic, assault groups of the 2nd Army continue destroying encircled formations of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the Centralny and Gornyak microdistricts, as well as in the Western Industrial Zone. Clearing of the settlement Rovny in the Donetsk People's Republic continues. Over the past day, 4 servicemen of the Armed Forces of Ukraine voluntarily surrendered. 6 attacks repelled on armored vehicles of the 32nd Mechanized Brigade. Up to 30 militants and a Kazakh armored vehicle were destroyed. In the settlement of Dmitrov, Donetsk People's Republic, assault units of the 51st Army continue active offensive operations in the eastern, western, and southern parts of the city. In the past day, up to 180 servicemen, 4 armored personnel carriers, 5 infantry fighting vehicles, 4 pickups, and 2 artillery guns were destroyed in the Krasnoarmysk direction. Overall, in the area of responsibility of the Center Troop Group, enemy losses amounted to up to 400 servicemen, 2 Swedish-made Viking armored personnel carriers and 2 US-made M113 armored personnel carriers, 6 infantry fighting vehicles, 7 vehicles, a US-made 155mm M777 howitzer, and a field artillery gun. Units of the East Troop Group continue to advance deep into the enemy's defense, actively liberating the settlement of Veselo in Zaporizhia region. Damage inflicted on formations of 2 assault brigades and 3 assault regiments of the armed forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements of Velikomikhailovka, Pokrovsk and Dnipropetrovsk region, Huliapol, Yablokov, and Dobropilya in Zaporizhia region. The armed forces of Ukraine lost over 250 servicemen, a tank, 7 vehicles, a 122mm self-propelled artillery mount Gvozdika, and 2 electronic warfare stations. Units of the Dnipro Troop Group inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of a mechanized brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements of Orkhov, Stepnoursk in Zaporizhia region, Mykolsk in Kherson region, and the city of Kherson. Up to 50 servicemen, 2 infantry fighting vehicles, 6 electronic warfare stations, 2 ammunition and material supply depots were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops and artillery of the troop groups of the armed forces of the Russian Federation destroyed 2 launchers of the US-made HIMARS multiple launch rocket system, inflicted damage on energy infrastructure facilities of Ukraine used in the interests of the armed forces of Ukraine, supply depots, locations of long-range drone crews, as well as temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries. In 146 districts. Air defense means shot down 4 British-made Storm Shadow air-launched cruise missiles and 119 fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles. Since the beginning of the special military operation, a total of destroyed 668 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 97,515 unmanned aerial vehicles, 637 surface-to-air missile systems, 26,134 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,618 multiple launch rocket system vehicles, 31,426 field artillery guns and mortars, 47,170 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.